Hello everybody, Jordan Plays back again with another Let's Talk video, where today I'm going to be talking about my year of 2023. So let's talk about it. Just before I get into all the different chapters, everybody, I would just like to basically just include the fact that this video is split into different segments, so it's easily watchable in little chunks. Let's move on. So, what did I achieve in 2023? Well, I achieved a couple things, I think, personally for myself. I went out and socialized a little bit more with friends. I got a job. That was something I achieved, which was incredible. And overall, I tried to not make it so down. I tried to make it a little bit better than my previous years, because my previous years were a bit lower than this year, in my opinion. But overall, I did achieve quite a number of things, including just in my job and doing this YouTube thing as a learning curve. I learned basically how to go through it as the year progressed. I know I took a break from September to October, and then a little break in between October and November, but I really did take on board what everyone really wanted on the channel, and read every single comment, which I still do, so that's something I've pretty much achieved this year. Another thing I did achieve this year is to think more positively about myself, because if I think negatively, it's just gonna go horribly. So this year, for example, I made the depression video to pretty much out the fact that I do have it, but not make it such a big issue. I wanted to get it off my chest so that everybody knew, so that I could hopefully have a better year. And I think personally I have had a better year because of it. Anyway, right, on to segment 2. Right, so fun things I did this year. Well, as I said in the previous segment, I socialised with friends more, meaning I got out and did more things than I did in 2022. This year, I would like to say I went to the cinema countless times. If you've seen my Letterboxd stream, basically all of the 2023 films, I saw most of them in the cinema. So it was pretty good. And and I also went out and I did a badminton sort of day with two of my friends down the local park, which I'd never really done before because I'm not really into sport. But that was quite a good time as well. And then another thing that I did with my best mate Ed, who's actually editing this video, so if you want to put something nice in the comments, like thank you Ed, or something like that, then that'll be wonderful. But, you know, I went to Tully's farm this year with him as well, around Halloween time. It was the day before Spider-Man 2 came out for the PlayStation. My God, was that an incredible event. Like everything, the lights, the costumes, the actors, the mazes, it was brilliant, and I'm definitely going to do it again in 2024 because it was just really fun. It was one of those events that I didn't see myself doing because I thought, you know, oh, I'm a bit of a pussy towards horror, but you know, it was pretty goddamn great going there. Because, you know, I learnt my limit for scaring and stuff, which, you know, I then tried to push a little bit more by watching horror movies throughout October as well. So I went out in the dark this year to prepare for that event as well, because, you know, I'm quite scared of the dark in person. I'm not very, you know, I do have a couple of things, you know, that, you know, I don't feel comfortable with, but the dark was one of the ones that I thought I've got to conquer. I got to conquer that before I do a scary event, because otherwise I might feel a little bit, you know, out of place and a bit, you know. So, like for like a few nights before I did that event with my mates, I went across my local park in the dark, just to, you know, not feel as scared of the dark anymore. So that was another big thing for this year. I think me and my mate have actually talked about doing it again anyway, so that if we end up doing that, I might bring my brother and think, because that might be up his street as well. But, you know, it could be something else that I do pretty much every year, you know, to celebrate the holiday, rather than just sitting indoors watching a horror film every so often. If you probably saw the video earlier this year, I went to Disneyland Paris in January, just after my birthday, and my God, that's honestly one of the biggest highlights of my year, honestly. I'm not really going to go into it fully here, because I made an hour and 12-minute video discussing all of it, but I might give some photos from that video to my mate to edit in next to me while I talk about it. The thing I did this year, oh yeah, I went to Chessington World of Adventures with my mum, my brother, my sister, and our is it like a kingship child, and my God, that was incredible. It was so incredible, you know, because I love Chessington. It's one of my, I think it's my second favourite park here in the UK. And I was so excited because they just opened the Jumanji world there, and my God, that was incredible. I mean, I even picked something up, which is actually over here, if I just show that quickly. I picked up a little keychain from the world itself, which has like the different icons. Like there's a snake one. There's like a jaguar one, and then there's obviously a mandrill, because the roller coaster in that world is called Mandrill Mayhem, so it's quite cool. There's also an ostrich. There you go. And then there's obviously the one life remaining and the Chessington logo on the back. And that was a big highlight this year. I also got a job helping out my granddad, which honestly, I'll have to go into that a little bit in my third section of what I learned, because I learned a heck of a lot from him, you know, while helping him do it, and I'm still going to do it next year. I'm not giving that up, because, you know, it strengthened my bond with my grandparents a lot more, in my opinion, because, you know, not only was I helping them out, but, you know, I got to talk to them pretty much 3 times a week, you know, for a good couple hours. And, you know, I absolutely loved it, honestly. And I thank my granddad every single time for giving me that opportunity, because, my God, it really did help me out this year. I also, what was it? Oh yeah, I did YouTube. So yeah, this year on my YouTube channel, I thought, you know, I'm gonna put some more time into my YouTube channel, because I thought I quite like doing YouTube. It's one of my big hobbies alongside Lego and, you know, some like reading and like poster collecting and that sort of thing. So I thought I want to put more time into YouTube. So, and I'm still going to continue this next year. I'm not going to stop with this video, as you'll come to find out later. But I really did sink some time into this, and it was about February this year that I started the town. And obviously, at this point on the channel, the original town that I did like 13 streams of at this point, is now actually dead. So I can't, you know, continue on that original town, which really has upset me, to be honest, because I never thought I'd actually get upset over a Minecraft world, but I had 10 months of memories on there, and all of you guys did as well. So, to be honest with you, it's actually made me somewhat upset that I can't play it anymore after it corrupted and deleted itself. And yes, I did shed a tear after it went. But I thought, you know, after you started sharing clips in the Discord of the different town segments, it's what gave me the idea to do a compilation for Christmas Day, because I thought, well, that's a big moment of the channel, and it's one I'm not going to let go. And I ain't going to let that go, which you'll find out later. But, you know, I've had a great time on this platform for the past year, even though YouTube has decided to muck up my like live chats, or like something's gone wrong. I've really enjoyed doing YouTube this year, and I hope to continue it in the future with more exciting stuff like what I've done this year, but just include it a little bit more. There's also obviously the big holidays, like, you know, my birthday this year. I turned 21 this year, which is insane, and had like the Disney trip straight after. So like the year did kick off at like quite a fast pace, and in about April time it just slowed down to a halt, which was a shame, because I wish it didn't do that. But no, I've had a great time on this platform, and, you know, and the fun's only beginning with this. I've got a few ideas which I want to bring into the channel next year, which hopefully will do well. But that's pretty much all I'm going to cover. I say that's all I'm going to cover, but I missed one thing. I did this little event here in the UK the beginning of December, called the Bedgebury Christmas Light Trail. I'll get my mate Ed to put some photos up while I speak, but my God, was that a incredible event this year. That was another big hit event that I did this year that I absolutely loved, to the point where, you know, I did take photos of it, as you're currently seeing. I also did do a couple videos, which I might get Ed to include those as like the different segment dividers, because like I only did like 3 videos I think from the event itself, but most of them were just photos. But that event, again, I did that with I did that with my mate Ed, his mum, and all of my family, and it was incredible just to have all of us walk around and just see it and just take in the Christmas spirit before, going straight back. And just the build up to my sister's birthday and Christmas was absolutely fantastic. Anyway, I think that's enough for like a recap of fun things that I did this year, and I'm going to move on to what I learned from this year. I learned a couple of things, mainly on my gardening job with my granddad. I learned loads of stuff. Like I learned how to do the lawn mowing, which I'd never really done before. I also learned how to chop down bushes using a hedge trimmer and some loppers. I also learned how to do power washing on his balcony and thing, which was so fun. Honestly, I would do that again because it was just so satisfying to hear it come out and go everywhere. It was fantastic. I also learnt that you don't have to hide if you're feeling sad and thing. Because I've had a lot of down points in this year, but I've learnt that if you hide it, it just makes it worse. So I went to counselling this year to do with my depression and tried to sort it out, but I ended up just talking to my mum, and it's actually helped me out a little bit, more than I thought it would, because it's brought to light most of the sad and down points for me, and just brought them back up again, which was absolutely fantastic for me. I did have a moment this year where I didn't, I wanted to commit suicide, but I don't really want to dwell on that because, well, to be honest, I don't want to make this video so tragic and sad. But it was my mum, taking me to see my cousin that basically wrapped me back around and thought, no, I don't need to do that. I just need to continue with what I'm doing and it'll make me fine. When sometimes it actually didn't. There were some points where I just kept getting low for no reason whatsoever, really, because I was just incredibly sad one day, or I wasn't very happy with how I was living my life. But another thing I'm going to take from this year and learn from it is the fact that I did a lot more socializing this year. I didn't think I was going to talk to many friends this year, but then as soon as I made the video about as soon as I started making YouTube videos discussing basically my situation, I got floods of messages from two friends that I hanged out with this year. I know, 2, not a lot, but I'm grateful that it was more than 2, because I thought, I'm never really going to hear from these people again, which then I did, which made me feel a little bit better in myself. So I'd just like to pause it here and just say thank you, Ed and Jade, my two best friends, honestly, at this point, for making my year as great as it was. I'm utterly grateful for what you've done for me this year, and hopefully next year our friendship bonds can become stronger, and I won't be so reliant on just having down moments as well, because that's one of the things I'm hoping to phase out of my life and just improve over the next few years, hopefully. But, you know, just thank you for everything you've done this year. I can't stress enough. And I'm really happy that you got back in contact with me, because I probably wouldn't have done with you two if I, you know, didn't have the confidence I have now. So just thank you very much. Anyway, I also learned a couple of things, like you don't need to have a girlfriend, or, you know, that sort of thing, because yeah, I am single, but, you know, that's not really a big issue to me at the moment. You know, you don't need to have like a girlfriend or anything else to make you happy. You know, you need to just work on yourself and work on your for me, work on my mental well-being before I think of any of that, really, to be honest. So that's another thing that I learned this year. I also learned that I'm not as like scared of scary stuff as I thought I was. Like, you know, like I was quite scared of horror movies like when I was growing up as a teenager, but now I feel like I'm absolutely fine with all of them. You know, and that's the case in point, like when I went to Tully's, as I mentioned, this year. I wasn't really scared by any of it, but, you know, I did look at it as yeah, that was a bit scary, but also a little bit cool, to be honest with you. But, you know, that's another thing I learned. I also learned that I'm severely claustrophobic this year. Like, I played a game of hide and seek with my brother at some point this year, and I hid behind a door, and obviously the space between the wall and the door was pretty small, and I just started hyperventilating, and I thought, I'm not claustrophobic, am I? And I actually thought, yeah, I actually am, because I'm actually, like, my chest is like tensing up and stuff. And I learned that this year, that, you know, I do suffer from a bit of claustrophobia. I also found out this year that I might be on the autism spectrum at some like degree. I don't really fully understand it, but then again, I haven't understood any of my disabilities enough to make a video about them. But I also learned that this year, and that's pretty much everything I can remember about learning this year. So I'm going to move on to the next segment. So here comes segment 4. This segment is all about things I'd like to improve in 2024. One of the things is that I'd like to improve my my content schedule. Like, you know, I did have like a major schedule for like most of this year, but then just completely like backed out on half of it. So I'd like to, you know, try new things on this channel next year. I'm not really a big, you know, sort of organised person, but, you know, I'd like to get some sort of consistency on this channel next year, surrounding every single other thing that I do. I'd also like to, you know, sort of control my mental health and well-being a little bit better than I did this year, because I have had a few like more down moments than like 2022, in my opinion, for me. But, you know, I would just like to, you know, just improve that and make it better. I would like to contact more friends and, you know, get more open, like what I did do this year, but just make it on a grander scale. I also would like to try and save money, because I did this in 2022 when I was saving up for my PlayStation, but I would like to try and save money again, but for a bigger goal, like going to Disney in America, or something like that, just so, you know, I can actually understand the concept of, you know, saving and, you know, the concept of money in general, because when money is with me right now, my mum will tell you that basically it goes out of my bank account like that, because I don't think about, you know, the major like things in the long term. I just go right, spend, and that's my mental health basically kicking in, basically, you know, fueling my depression. Is that I basically just buy loads of stuff like really quickly without even thinking about it. So that's another thing I would like to improve next year. Another thing I would like to improve next year is you know, obviously having a stronger friend bond with the current friends that I actually do, you know, hang out with and talk to pretty much on a daily basis. You know, I would like to try and like also get more confident next year, because my confidence is very lacking, and stuff. And I also would like to try new things next year, like, you know, stuff for the channel, stuff like with friends that I've never done, you know, and other stuff like that. You know, it would be quite good really if thing. I'd also like to my mum for Christmas got me a FNAF cookbook, which I actually have here. I might as well show it. She got me the Five Nights at Freddy's cookbook, and I can't cook personally. Like, I've never been able to try on my own and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that next year I can probably make some stuff out of that cookbook and try and learn to cook, because I can't really do it. You know, because my hands are a bit disfigured, and I can't... And I have a bit of a weak grip when it comes to, like, knives and you know, like, chopping things up. So it would be nice if, you know, I could actually learn to cook next year as, like, one of the little things. I also want to write... I also want to write a story next year, because, you know, I used to love creative writing in like secondary school and college and stuff like that, but I literally have like not been able to do it since leaving college about 3 years ago, something like that. So I would love to get back into that again. Anyway, but that's pretty much everything I'd like to improve next year, and a little bit of what I'd like to look forward to, but that's the next major segment, so I'll go into that in more detail in a minute for you, but, you know, seconds for me. But yeah, that's pretty much everything about this year, about next year, that I'd like to improve from this year that I've learned. So on to the next segment. Right, things I've got to look forward to next year. Well, I've got apparently we might be going on 2 holidays next year. I know one is to Norfolk here in the UK, which I haven't been to in ages and don't really have a great memory of. So I'm hoping that will be good, and that'll be in September of next year. So that might be a bit of a rocky road for YouTube schedule and that sort of thing. But I've also, as I said in the previous segment, I want to write a book. I came up with the idea that instead of making Kingdom Knights into a game, I was going to write it into a book that I could then sell pretty much worldwide in different countries and stuff. So one of the things I'm going to do next year, like start of next year, probably January most likely, is I'm going to contact the company Unbound to try and get the my Kingdom Knights book off the ground. And then if they obviously accept it, then I can obviously, you know, try and get funding for it and then write it, which then it'll be out in bookshops and on Amazon and like on all those places. I take it anyway. But no, that's one of the things I'd like to do next year. I'd also, as I said, I'd also like to save money for a big trip, because to be honest with you, I'd love to take my friends or members of my family out on holiday somewhere. I'd actually love to do that, because, you know, I think going on holiday by yourself or with like a small group of people is okay, but it depends where you go, in my opinion. And I think personally it would be great if I took a small group of people to Disney to share that memory with me, you know, or to go somewhere else that's a bit cheaper, you know. But you know, that's another thing I've got to look forward to next year. Obviously, I might do Bedgebury and Tully's Farm again next year, so that'll be another thing to look forward to. I might go do some theme parks with my mate Ed and Jade, probably. That'd be good. You know, and just cram in some good fun stuff to keep my mind occupied and not to keep my mental health from biting away at me. But so far, that's all I've got really to look forward to next year. I've not really got any major plans other than what I mentioned. So, on to segment number 6. Segment number 6 is all about what I hope to bring to the channel next year. So next year I have got some plans for a podcast, which I might call the Purple Night podcast, because if you take my channel colours, red and blue, together, you get purple. So I thought, well, that sounds like a cool name for a podcast. Let me know what you think in the comments about that. I'm going to do more Let's Talks, I'm going to do more streams, I'm going to do more videos, but, you know, on different stuff. Like, I will continue doing Let's Talks and the movie talk, but they sometimes might be melded into the podcast. I will obviously keep doing the gaming. I'm gonna restart the town, obviously, that I've mentioned in previous streams. That'll probably start in January with Town 2.0, which I've already been planning on pieces of paper. I already know like how the middle bit of the town is going to go, which I can't wait to share with you guys on a stream next year. I'm going to keep, you know, I might start doing vlogs. Let me know what you think about that, if you'd actually be interested in watching me vlog stuff, because I've done vlogs before on the channel, but like they haven't been very popular. But you know, if you want to see them, then please let me know. And I might, and if the Unbound book goes on a bit of a journey, then I might do a series behind the scenes of making the book and stuff, if you guys want to see that as well. But overall, next year I'm hopefully gonna branch out and do other things, like including my friends as well as myself. But you know, obviously I've had so many stream requests for games that I should do, so hopefully I get to those in like the first 2 months of next year. But you know, another thing I would just like to come out and say, the streams will most likely stay on Tuesdays and won't go to any other days of the week, because I help my granddad out with the gardening 3 days a week, with the only day that I have off being Tuesday and Thursday. So if you respect that I want to keep Thursday as like my day off, my relaxing day or something like that, then I will keep that as like a relaxing day, and then record the podcast probably over the weekend or something after my mate gets back from work or something. It just depends, really. But obviously, if I'm doing something busy, but it's like a video day or a stream day, most likely I will pre-record a video and upload it on the day. Which, well, that does depend. Obviously, with all of the different games that are coming out in 2024 and all the different movies and stuff like that, I will cover all of that. I'm hoping to cover more Lego as well, because the Brickheads video that I did this year was actually quite entertaining for me, and I have bought more Legos since then. Like, I got the Bowser Lego set, which is right next to me. My sister bought me this little parrot from for Christmas. His name is Patrick, by the way, because I asked my sister to name him. But I didn't make like Let's Build videos on them, which was quite disappointing. I did have a plan to do the Bowser as a Let's Build video, but he took me nearly like 3 days to build. It was actually crazy. But you know, Bowser did take me quite a while, and he is huge. Like, I can grab him, but he probably won't fit on the camera. Like, look, he is he's absolutely huge. Absolutely mental. And like, he does move and everything as well, but you know, he is absolutely huge. He's probably one of my biggest Lego sets, because I think he just goes over my question block, which is in my window behind me. But obviously, if Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which has already been confirmed, comes out next year, then there'll obviously be some more FNAF content as well. But you know, I'm gonna keep some stuff that I got for Christmas away, because, well, I don't really want to show it off, because you might see it on streams or in other videos that I wear, like stuff that I wear, or you know, I might show it off in other things next year. So I'll leave half that stuff to be shown off during next year, like just as a little bit of an Easter egg or something like that. But that's pretty much everything coming to the channel next year that I want to bring to the channel. So on to the final section. 2023 in general has been quite fantastic to me personally, but has also had its downsides. So overall, I would say it was a pretty bang average year for me, because I did try loads of new stuff. I did reconnect with friends. I did do loads of like stuff which has honestly brought my year up like higher than 2021 and 2022. So I would actually say that it is so far the best year that I have had in this decade. And I'm going to be so thankful for it, and I hope that I can bring more stuff in 2024. But just as a final little thing, I would like to thank every single subscriber for subscribing. We started off the year with 58 subscribers. We now have 118 at the time of me making this video, which I'm making this on the 30th of December. But we've had immense channel growth, like with the greatest stunt short, where you know my brother did the flip in the Tomahawk. That got like 1.5k views, and like it blew my mind. So I honestly, for everyone who's watched and everyone who's subscribed, thank you. It means the world to me. And I hope that next year we can hit the 500 subscriber goal, and I can start, you know, doing more stuff on here, like interacting with you guys. And obviously, if we get to above my friend's YouTube channel, then I'll probably do a little video or a little short celebrating the fact that I've actually beat him. Not to be salty or anything, Ed, but, you know, it would be absolutely fantastic if we beat your channel in subs next year. Especially with you helping out. But that is it for 2023. And I am absolutely thankful for everything that has happened this year. So, for the final time in 2023, thank you so much for joining me on this journey so far. Happy New Year. And I'll see you next year in 2024. Ciao!